SaaS is exploding, and the tool that allow you to build a SaaS is exploding even more. So we're going to talk about AI coding assistant today, and I will rank them from top to bottom. We're going to go all the way from S tier to D tier, okay? And we're going to talk about Lovable, Bolt.new, Windsurf, V0, GitHub Copilot, Cursor, Replit, Kiro Dev. There is like a whole bunch of new AI coding assistant, and I'm going to rank them personally, all of them. I have used most of them, and I have done research on most of them as well. So we're going to talk about what is good, what is bad on each of them. And again, we're going to rank them from top to bottom. First of all, who am I? Right? I personally have done over $30 million in revenue online. I have made millions of dollars for my clients as well. And I'm also building multiple SaaS companies myself. And I personally use all of these tools. I am a developer as well. And I'm also a marketer on top of that. Yeah, I'm going to give you a different perspective that many other people have not done it. So let's jump right into it. So first of all, Lovable. I like Lovable. I have used it. As you can see, I have an account. I have done multiple projects in here. And I think it is pretty good. There are tools that compete with Lovable like Replit and Bolt.new. They're kind of similar, but they give you the code, but you don't need to write the code. Whereas something like Cursor, this is what you use to write the code. Right? So depending on what you are trying to use, your use cases, you may use different tools. So I'm going to actually arrange Lovable, Replit, and Bolt.new together because they're kind of similar, as well as V0 as well. And we have Copilot, Cursor, Windsurf, and Kiro Dev. So Lovable, I think it will be around A to B tier. It'll kind of be in the middle. I'm not going to say it's an A tier because for it to be A tier, it needs to allow us to edit the code. It does not allow you to edit the code. Okay? It will give you the code, but it does not. It is not a B tier because it does a fantastic job of doing it. And I also think the pricing is pretty good as well. So let's talk about Bolt.new as well. So Bolt.new. I have used this tool and I hate it. Okay, I personally hate it. What happened was that I used this tool, I upgraded it, I paid for it. So let me sign into my account. So I'm in my account. If I go here, manage billing, you will see that I paid $20 to use this tool. Yes, I tested this tool, and like I said, I hate it. What happened was that I was using Bolt.new and Lovable and other tools at the same time. I was testing all of them, and I realized that Bolt.new on a free plan was really good. Like I was using Lovable, the same prompt on either side, Lovable and Bolt, and I realized that Bolt actually had a better response. But when I upgraded the plan and I started using it even more, started making a lot more mistakes, basically. So I was like, what the hell? Basically, what I realized was that they are good at certain point, but when the code gets larger, it starts making a lot of stupid mistakes. Whereas Lovable was not as detailed. Lovable was kind of okay. When I upgraded Lovable plan, it kind of was consistent. It was doing the same work I was expecting, whereas Bolt was making way more mistakes. The difference between the two is that Lovable is really good for MVP. If you want to see something, if you want to view something, right? Lovable is really good for that. Whereas Bolt is a little better on details. It can fix detailed things, but because it is better at details, when you have a lot of code, it cannot focus on the details. Whereas Lovable does not focus on details, it focuses on high level picture. It will give you a high level overview, but if you want detail to be done, you have to be very, very specific on Lovable. So because of that, I'm going to rank Bolt.new around C tier, maybe even D tier to be honest. Now we're going to talk about V0. So V0 is from Vercel. If you have used Vercel, I think you should use V0. There are other tools like this, which is Replit. I have used Replit as well. I personally, as you can see, I have an account with V0. I have a monthly credit of 20 credit because I do pay for V0. I like V0 to be honest. There are many things Vercel provides, and because V0 and Vercel is connected, I think you should use them together if you are using Vercel. So I'm going to rank this around A tiers to be honest. So Replit. Replit is an interesting one. I have also used this. I have also paid for it as well. So as you can see, I'm logged into my Replit. I built an app 4 months ago, and I've also had multiple accounts. Actually, this is just one of my accounts. I tested multiple versions. I was testing multiple different accounts to see what works, what doesn't work. I thought it was okay, to be honest. It did good job. It was okay. I thought it was a little confusing to use. It was making a lot of mistakes. That was about 4 months ago. And again, it was just a little harder to work with compared to Lovable and Bolt.new and even V0. I'm actually gonna put Replit Replit to all the way to the D tier. I think Bolt.new and Replit are kind of like the same thing. They're not that great, to be honest. I personally don't like either of them. Whereas Lovable would probably be B plus or A minus, and V0 will be on A tier. So let's talk about GitHub Copilot. So as I write code, as I work on GitHub, right, as I am working on Jupyter and Google Colab and different things, I find GitHub Copilot to be a little helpful. Like, I think it is pretty good. I don't think it is the best, to be honest. I don't think it is the best. Again, everybody who is a developer uses GitHub, and I think they have a lot of potential, but I just don't think it is realized. I also think it is more for a developer. Like, if you are just a part-time developer, right, you're just getting started and you're just like trying to use all these AI tools to make your SaaS faster, then maybe GitHub Copilot is not for you. GitHub Copilot is for someone who actually writes code day in and day out. If you have a day job and all you do is just write code, then GitHub Copilot is for you. For my audience, for the people who are watching this video, I don't think this is for you, but this is pretty good. So I'm actually going to rank on B minus, to be honest. So now let's talk about Cursor, Windsurf, and Kiro. I'm actually going to talk about Kiro. Kiro is a new IDE, AI IDE from AWS. So Amazon just launched a new one. It has been out for only a few days, so it is very hard to know. But one of the drawbacks is that they only work with Cursor. So this is Kiro. Their website looks fantastic, and so far from what I've seen, they're pretty good actually. The pricing is not that bad. They're actually free for now, so they're trying to get many people to use Kiro at the moment. So I think if you are starting and you don't have a lot of budget, then I think you should join Kiro right now and try it out. It works with Claude and it is fantastic as well. So because most of the coding is actually done by the AI model in the backend, right? So like ChatGPT or Claude or Grok or different models, right? The job of IDE is just to facilitate that. It's just to arrange that. It's just to give you a platform to do that, right? It's not Kiro that's doing the coding. It's the model behind it. So it doesn't matter if you're using Windsurf or Cursor or Kiro, you're using the same model. They all support Claude, Sonnet, Opus, right? All those models. The difference with Kiro is that they only support Claude, whereas if you're using Cursor, they have Grok as well. They have ChatGPT models as well. So they have other things as well. So I'm actually going to rank Kiro because it is free at the moment. I'm actually going to give it A tier because I think it is pretty good, to be honest. So let's talk about Cursor. Cursor is interesting. I pay a lot of money for Cursor, right? I pay a lot of money for Cursor. I personally use Cursor at the moment. I have the highest tier in Cursor. That probably tells you something, right? As you can see, we are using a lot of requests, 24,000 lines of agent edits. So as you can tell, we're doing a lot of coding here. So if I go to users, you can see where I'm using Cursor every day here. And, you can see my invoice. I pay a lot of money for Cursor to use it every month. As you can see, we pay a lot of money for Cursor. So I like Cursor. I think it is a good platform, to be honest. I think it has drawbacks. But what I like about Cursor is that they're always getting better. They're always trying to do different things. I used Cursor to actually build an iOS app. It's called Lovable. We're still working on it, but I used Cursor for the whole thing. And there's so many things you can do in Cursor, MCP, Cursor rules, right? There's just a lot of things, right? So I used Cursor to build the app and I thought it was fantastic. Cursor does a much better job, to be honest. So I'm actually going to rank this S tier. I'm actually going to put it on S tier. I don't want to say it is exactly S tier because there is still some things that Cursor needs to improve on, but because how fast they're improving, how fast they're shipping the product, right? How many commits that they have going on, I think eventually they're going to work on that one feature that I want, like this one feature. And Windsurf already has that feature, but it's not like that's a deal breaker because there are MCP that give you that feature. So Cursor doesn't need to make that feature themselves and you can just use the MCP for that. But at the moment, I'm just going to say Cursor is on S tier and that's the one that I personally use at the moment. Now let's talk about Windsurf. I also tried Windsurf as well. I have paid for Windsurf personally. And again, I thought it was good. Like I liked it, but I think it has a lot of issues as well. It was not as good as Cursor. It is definitely cheaper than Cursor, but cheaper doesn't matter. It's only like $20, $30, $40, right? I don't care if it's cheap or expensive. I just need to write the better code, right? So looking at that, there are some things that made Windsurf better, but there were many things that made me choose Cursor over Windsurf. So if I was to rank this, I think I'm going to say S minus or A plus tier. I think it is still pretty good, but it's not the best. It is definitely better than Lovable or V0 or Kiro. It is definitely better than Replit and Bolt.new. And if you're not a developer and you're trying to build a SaaS, I think you should go with Cursor or Windsurf or V0 and try that out. Or if you're trying to just have an MVP. But if you're trying to just to see how it looks, then you should try Lovable and just prompt it, just talk with it, and you can get a working prototype, just a demo. Like, it will have a lot of bugs, but you can see how the app would look, and you can use Lovable for that. So this is the ranking for all the AI coding assistant. I hope you find this helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.